as Virtus.pro, they're looking like the kings.
Yeah, they're for sure up top, and you can see even just by the early moves, like VP, they're aggressively checking for the tri-camp. Often teams might want to stand like defensively here, but yeah, VP just moving on in and making sure that they own the early bounty runes.
Now, we just heard Brian do a laundry list long of just all the reasons of why VP should win this game.
It is pretty long, I won't lie.
Is there, anything specifically that Unique can do to really kind of offset and start to tip the scales in their favor? I know it's tough. I know that, they're a bit static. They're very farm dependent. But is there anything that they can kind of...
Well, yeah, of course. So when they have this Enigma in that position 4 role, he is a lot greedier. And when you think about what heroes VP has, none of them, there's no save. There's no kind of black hole cancel coming out outside of maybe an Abyssal Blade on this Ursa. So if this Enigma has a good game and they can play a kind of a slow-paced kind of approach, then sure, I think you black hole him, get him out of the game, and suddenly Death Prophet can excel. But it's very much you have to hit the big spells with the big cooldowns to be able to really get yourself into this game.
Small adjustment.
That's a lot of pressure on this Enigma for sure, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye out on him. But, this middle lane with the Death Prophet and the Void Spirit, of course, we're expecting to see GPK probably do very well here. Despite the fact that I feel like, anytime you see a melee hero against the Death Prophet, she tends to have a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, I think the saving grace is because you have this Void Spirit. The difference is outside of lane, it's what they bring to the game, and that 4-minute rune, the Void Spirit naturally will be looking to move to the side lanes, be super active, and Death Prophet, very static kind of hero. You're pressuring the tower, so GPK, we've seen in the games he played so far in DPC, he's super active, likes to break down the map, and we're going to see that again here with this Void Spirit potentially.
And bullying save a little bit here in the top lane, but generally, it's so weird because I've been seeing so much early fighting, early aggression coming out of the EU region, but in CIS, it feels like everybody just kind of sits back and they just chill for a bit. It seems a bit backwards, right, from what we're traditionally used to seeing? Yeah,
I think there's kind of two ways to play Dota right now, which is kind of what you touched on. It's the idea of you can wait and farm and then really break down the enemy with a good timing, or you try and just run at them non-stop and then they never have the time to set up that kind of farming pattern. And it is refreshing to see a little bit of flip within the regions,
I do think it's interesting too. Usually, we'll see rotations. Sometimes you get lucky, right? Sometimes we get a really good action rune coming out and the mid's able to snap it up and we start seeing that fight start maybe a minute early. But otherwise, it seems like most of the action starts around the 5-minute mark, right? When everybody's scrambling for those bounty runes, refilling bottles and whatnot.
Yeah. There's kind of two really big windows to look for. It's the kind of the active rune, if you have that hero to utilize it, and also you want to kind of refill the bottle and set yourself up for the bounty fight. Oh, save. Oh, poor guy.
He's fine. Look at him.
Yeah, he's got a cheeky little salve, hasn't he? Yeah.
Look at that. He's got a salve. This is a captain of Virtus.pro here. You're not going to take him down that easily.
Oh, but this is what Unique need. They need to start getting some kills early on, I think, with this IO lane, because you have IO Tusk. It's very potent. It's very strong. And then it will obviously kind of fall off when the IO needs to get 2 or 3 items to feel like a hero. So the lack of early kills here is going to make Unique feel a little bit uncomfortable, I believe.
We'll just continue to farm up here top lane. IO sitting at 7-1 currently. Definitely not the best feelings in the world.
Oh, I didn't even... Oh, yeah, that's a bit low, isn't it, Moxie?
I think that's an understatement. A bit low.
Yeah, it's a tad low. Yeah, it's not too good. But again, they're looking for the kills, and this lane has been pretty much in front of the Brewmasters this entire time, and the pull camp's not been able to be utilized. So yeah, VP are going to be loving life in this lane right now.
I mean, how do you get kills in this lane? You've got an IO and you're facing off against, someone fairly tanky, and of course, Save is going to be able to actually, save. He does have the shackles up if necessary. You can always get a value point in the Hex.
Yeah, the thing about IO is you need that +1 to have that tether for the move speed and to be able to play. That forces your support not to be able to play on that pool camp, and it's why we're seeing this lane always in front of the Brewmaster and the Shaman. But Slayer, he is doing a good job at tanking up the spells. Warrant, he did get shackled, so it's kind of forcing the damage, but as long as this IO can maybe get a couple more CS and get that Dominator and then start really getting entry to the game.
This is a nice start here. Save, though, with the shackles. Couple of spirits coming out, but he's still going to be able to walk away. Turns back around. Can they get a kill on Slayer here? They're hoping maybe they can get off enough damage, but do have to be careful, of course, with those creeps over on the side.
Just a lot of poking and prodding.
No hard committals just yet, like I said, but 4 minutes has come up and around. Death Prophet's got her bottle here. Void also has that as well. So I think maybe around the 5-minute mark, we'll start to see maybe a bit more scrapping, maybe a little bit more committal going in these fights, especially with Slayer sitting so low. And if Slayer leaves, then Palantimos is very, very, what's the word? Vulnerable. That's the word.
I think a nice thing as well to see is in like the EU region, we see a lot of active nature towards these active runes, and we haven't seen that at all from either of these teams. We kind of allowed the mid lane to go, you know what? You guys play for the 50-50. If you lose, it's your own fault. We're not going to help secure it in any way. And that is a product of the Tusk having to help IO, the Enigma having to jungle, and then VP seeing that and just trying to apply that extra bit of pressure. Because if the supports ever leave for VP, that's when Unique will start kind of getting carried away, getting that extra farm, because they are a lot greedier.
Get the rune snapped up here. Couple nice ones. Kingslayer managing to grab 2 of them down on the bottom side.
No, it's slow and steady. It's early days. You know, I think VP, they're going to be very happy with this start. And I think Unique as well. I think both teams, they really aren't going to feel any pressure right now with the way that these lanes have gone. Maybe the IO is the only one feeling a little bit kind of more upset, just simply to lack of kills. But hopefully we're going to see some tempo ramped up, especially with GPK getting level 6. He might be starting to look to play on a side lane.
I feel like we've seen this before. Although the IO Spirits are doing a lot more damage this time. So
finally
there
someone
we go.
dies, Moxie. That's what we care about.
First blood at 5 minutes and 40-something seconds. Not usually what we see coming out of this region. I like this, though. They rotate the Coddle to be able to try to put some more damage down. Just wipe up all of these creeps and, of course, the Eidolons. Do you have to be careful, though? GPK, gets the taunt off. Can they turn this back around? Throwing out the Illuminate. There's a lot of damage being thrown out on Pikachu. Save also rotating.
Yeah, I think GPK getting pretty low there forces out the save rotation. So saves will be a little bit uncomfortable with this TP. But in general, it was a very good move from VP, especially with the Coddle, just getting rid of this early exo pressure from the tower and allowing for kind of this lack of pressure. Because Unique, the pressure comes from the DP. If DP ever wastes exo, they're on their own side of the river. They can't make any plays.
Top lane, DM getting harassed here by Palantimos and Slayer. The shards, though, not going to be able to contain him. And yeah, I do love the way, you know, you saw this rotation, you see the Eidolons in the lane, and then you just immediately see the Coddle make his way over because he can use that Illuminate, push out the wave, and just effectively, you know, not necessarily stop the push because, you know, there is no backdoor protection on the tier 1s any longer, but definitely, you know, very effective in being able to...
It's so sad seeing an Ursavia Timber, I won't lie. When you get left alone, you're the Timber Sword player, you're like, oh, please, Bet, don't hit me. Just leave me alone, just let me kind of trade farm. Have you ever done that in a game? Tried offering up a farm kind of treaty where it's like, I'll CS, you CS, don't hit each other?
No, but I've definitely hit the pause button and said, wait, please, don't do this.
Is this when you're full HP or like 10 HP?
You don't want to do this. Oh, please. You know, the bargaining stage of grief for sure. But down bottom lane here, Ghost Stick. He's putting out a decent chunk of damage here against Nightfall, and he's really holding his own. They do have to be careful. Chakram coming forward. Nightfall's forced to jump ahead. Kingslayer just giving him tiny boops over on the side, but they will have a rotation come out here. Ursa, again, the Chakram doing a decent amount of damage. Hop forward again. They need to get over there. Save needs to go just a little bit faster. And there it is. There's the Shackles. Can they get enough damage off in time? Well, I guess with GPK making his own rotation, too, he should be able to help take down Ghost Stick. But they need to be careful because he's really hunting Nightfall. Almost manages to do it. 50-something hit points. Nightfall is a tricky bear here as he manages to sidestep all of the damage just in the nick of time.
I think Ghost Stick's honestly going to be pretty happy with that. The fact he had 4 heroes in the bot lane just to deal with him, that's exactly what a Timbersaw wants. It alleviates the pressure in the top lane. Now, Io and Tusk might be able to start, you know, poking and prodding the Brewmaster, and kind of DP's happily trading up. I think GPK didn't really miss anything on mid lane for this rotation, but you know, it's slow and steady.
He didn't lose his tower. That's the big thing, right? Whenever you're playing against a Death Prophet, you're always a bit worried that if you leave the lane, she'll use the Exorcism. And that mid tower is very, very important. Yeah,
and if you look at the net worth right now, it's the greediness of Unique's lineup isn't really getting pressured at all. Like, you have Timbersaw Shaw is like the sacrificial lamb, but it's in the Enigma we mentioned already. He's like the big core here. Actually going for the mech to maybe kind of apply for that big team kind of timing we're going to be seeing around minute 15, minute 20. The Helmet Dominator Orchid on Io, Timbersaw with kind of any kind of tanky item.
Oh boy, this is looking like a dead Slayer.
Ah.
Yeah, we'll get the final hit here.
You know, it's only fair. They got the IO kill earlier, so now Tusk needs to fall.
This is going to be interesting, though. Both Pikachu and Bignum, they're smoked up. Feels like Pikachu, though, kind of wants to stick around in the middle lane. But you can see Enigma making his own journey over to the side here.
But there really isn't any Black Hole Council in this game. Outside of, you know, the Shaman, a Brew split, and then maybe the Remnant from the Void Spirit, it really does allow for this kind of early window of the game where Enigma could walk in and get a pretty high value Black Hole. And that's why we're seeing him not really rush like the Blink BKB kind of thing, go more for a tanky mech item to enable this DP, enable the kind of the swarming desire that Unique will have when it gets to the exit laning phase.
That makes a lot of sense, right? You're just going to be able to kind of walk in. As long as you can survive the initial steps, then you'll be able to get off a Black Hole, and there's not much to cancel it. But they will throw out the Illuminate, and there's a decent amount of pressure as they use the Fortification already. You can see more heroes making their way over Taunt with the Illuminate. DPK popping back up again here over onto Pikachu. He sidesteps the Silence. Needs just a little bit more damage. Snowball comes out, though. Buys a little bit more time as the tower does indeed go down. Timbersaw coming in. The Illuminate, though, will be able to take down Pikachu. Nice Shackles coming out from Save. They'll be able to take down Slayer next. And now it looks like it's just Ghostic left here all by himself. They've used the split. They're slowing him down. They're doing everything that they can. Bignum, though, nearby uses the mech. Will turn back around. Throws down that Midnight Pulse. And the threat of the Black Hole just seems to be a little bit too scary for the side of Virtus.pro, so they'll back off.
Yeah, I think Unique, they're the ones actually kind of making all the proactive moves right now. They've taken away this bot tower, they're taking away mid, and in Dota, these are kind of fundamentally the most important towers in the game. It opens up a lot more pressure to come in the future. I think VP, they'll be kind of annoyed with how hard it was to defend that tower. They have to bring on all the heroes. They get a couple kills, but it doesn't feel that good for them. So they're going to have to go back, retreat to the jungle, and as long as they don't keep losing more map control and can keep like a line of defensive vision, they still won't mind too much because their scaling is what they're looking for. Like they don't have this immense amount of damage early on. Like Brew, he needs to have split. Ursa needs Battle Fury +1, so they're kind of accepting giving up the map, but this could easily get pretty Unique favored if they go again, get another tower, and then suddenly Roshan's on the card for them as well.
I was about to say, yeah, you know, that tower always is very important, but especially when you have an Ursa lineup, right? You really want to protect your mid tower and make sure that the enemies can't teleport as easily either to that area. But pressure will get placed on the top area here. Save uses those Serpent Wards, and they've got plenty of people in position, but they are smoked up on the side of Unique. They make their way over. Courier over on the side. Slayer, smoke will pop. They'll find themselves safe. And you can see Kingslayer hiding over in the corner. The Hex comes out. They'll get a Shackle off. He's just trying to buy a little bit more time for his teammates, and he does manage to do it because they teleport out. DPK is going to get recalled, and so you end up losing, you know, you end up losing your support. I think you're okay with this. Uh-oh.
Now they're going to use this pause to think about tactical decisions they want to make. That being, you know what, in fairness, Unique are actually doing a pretty good job. I know coming into the series, a lot of people would be saying, you know, VP is a favorite, but just the way in which they've had this, like, proactive need to take these early towers, they've defended what is normally quite a simple push from a team with a Shaman, and now they're grouped up again. I think we have to look towards maybe the negative repercussions of this play from Unique, where they're grouping up a lot more than VP, which means that they're going to have, you know, lower XP, lower farm across all heroes, and it will give them this kind of early map presence. But the question is, will they be able to keep up with the farm compared to this Ursa, who's already, you know, 6.4k net worth, and he is the win condition. We are not seeing Unique shut down the win condition at all.
Yeah, they've been focused on a lot of the objectives, but not necessarily. It's interesting, right? It's kind of like focusing on the present, but not focusing on, you know, your investments for the future.
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
all in at this point. So.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that is one of the big separations between teams in like tier 1 to tier 2. It's you feel good getting some kills, but like the question is, are those kills the kills that are really getting you into the winning position of the game? And right now for Unique, it isn't that bad, but I'd like to see them try and make some moves towards this Ursa just to stint his farm a little bit.
It doesn't appear to be the moves that they're making currently at this time.
And at VP, they just go back top again. You see that Unique have taken this tower and they're pushing away. They get it for free. And now they're opening up this Roshan area for sure. Like both teams could easily get a free Roshan with one good pickoff around the pit. And I think that's maybe what VP are doing right now, smoking up. If they kind of break down this mid tower, get a couple kills, they'll instantly pivot straight towards that Roshan.
And they've got to make sure that they go and lock down Bignum first over there on that that Enigma, because he can definitely cause some problems. And it looks like they might run into Ghost Stick first.
There wasn't actually a sentry there from Unique on the hill, so they're not going to be aware that VP are smoked up right now. They can kind of guess it just from the side lanes being pushed in. And now, of course, the Serpent Ward's being dropped as well.
They'll reveal, but Bignum also will reveal himself over on the side. They'll sign the IO immediately. Bignum trying to get into position here. Timber chain forward. Fortification is out. Illuminate tossed out as well. Pikachu sitting very low. Palantino's going to make sure he stays alive.
The good thing about Unique in these defensive positions, they are quite incredibly tanky. You know, you got Tusk Snowball for the save. DP naturally is pretty tanky with Siphon. Enigma with the mech. Timbersaw, Io. Like, if VP commit, they have to all in on that one hero and make sure they have enough burst potential. And right now, they don't have the items to do that. So that's why you can see VP being quite reserved. They'll come in, poke at the tower, but then instantly disengage because they want to try and continue out-farming their opponent. Like Unique, they're going to be slow to get back out onto the map and start farming. And you can see how VP is trying to kind of utilize the positioning right now to get back a bit more of a gold lead, because it is still a very even game right now at 15 minutes.
I think if they had maybe caught Bignum and been able to take him out first, I think perhaps that fight goes a lot differently, because he is the biggest threat, right? He is your major team fight component that makes everything, you know, very difficult. Because I feel like, you know, you can burst down Pikachu. It's not the easiest, of course, but and then you just kind of ignore the Timbersaw, right? You don't want to engage on this guy. He's too big.
Yeah, and now you're going to see him here. He's about to complete his Jewel Scepter as well. And we spoke earlier about the kind of lockdown that VP has. When they take a team fight, there always has to be one player calling for, I'm holding this stun for the black hole. And it's pretty much like 3 or 4 spells that we're talking about.
Ooh,
nice pick off from Unique.
They find a kill and save, and that is actually going to be the Blink Dagger for Bignum. So even more crucial, they're going to have to be very, very careful in their positioning in all of these fights. It's going to be a case of hunting down the Enigma, it seems.
Just trying to work out the point in which this Brew's going to have like a nice entry to the game. He likes to pop his ult, try and get a quick kill, reset and go, and we haven't really seen that from DM right now. And he's now just kind of pushing out the side lane. He doesn't really care if he dies or not. He has the early Vessel to deal with this big regen and tankiness of Unique. I love that pickup. But we're still, I think we're about 4 or 5 minutes away from VP confidently wanting to make a play. And Unique, they identify that. They instantly go to Roshan, utilize his Exorcism, and DP position 5, DP mid, is going to do a lot of work at the rush. That's a level 2 ultimate as well. I don't think VP should be here in time.
I don't think you want to go into that pit either. Yeah. I mean, you've got an Enigma there. It's way too risky. So I like the way that Unique is playing this.
It's very methodical. And yeah, I like the way that they were the ones being proactive. They didn't allow the Shaman to be the one dictating the tower pressure. And because of that, they get all 3 tier 1s and Roshan at minute 16. This is like the perfect start for Unique, especially when you're the underdog.
This is really nice, though, because you've got GPK. He just finished up the Aghanim Scepter, so you know he's going to be hunting those backlines now. You know that he's going to be throwing out the silences. In fact, they're looking for an opening here over on Ghost Stick as GPK jumps forward. The silence coming in handy as he draws him right back in with the Rem. They follow up. Yes, and they even get the silence off over on the Enigma. Oh, no, Bignum. It was going to be beautiful if only there wasn't that silence.
The Virtus.pro Ags. Oh, that was disastrous for Unique. I think that was where you can see how VP, they were buying their time, and the items came to play there. The Vessel to take away the tankiness of Timbersaw, the Ags for the silence, and Unique could have turned that around, but unfortunately just a second or 2 late, and that's where VP takes the tower and 2 big kills.
God, that was just beautiful, like that peak timing and then having the fight break out like that. You just feel so bad. Like, look at this. Jump in here, over onto Ghost Stick. Bignum jumps in, but then they follow up with the second silence.
Yeah. The power of Keep the Light plus Voice Spirit, you're always going to have this silence available, and it is, yeah. You can see he was so happy with those kills. Like, he was buzzing at the fact that he just got a couple kills on Unique there. Just hold it back, players, please. Don't show too much emotion in the early game.
You know? Stone Cold Killer.
He knows it's like 60 minutes. Like, yeah, I'm not really winning the game yet.
Hey, I'm just happy we got a puppy smile the other day.
Oh, that was good,
wonderful.
Yeah. Maybe we should have incentives, you know? It's like you get punished for not having the webcam. You should get, you know, extra money if you start smiling and showing true emotion, you know?
Oh, everyone will be smiling then. People like money. Couple of maybe like an extra DPC point here or there, right? Ooh, everybody's going to be
grin
smiling.
gets 1 DPC point.
But you still have to win.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Is that balanced?
No, that's balanced. Yeah, that's balanced.
GPK, they're hiding in the tree line here. They use a scan, so they know he's there. Just have to be careful, but he's got those Aether Steps up and ready. So Astral Step if needed. Oh,
don't find him,
so close. He's getting nervous. We'll Astral Step away. And Astral Step one more time. TP on cooldown for another 7 seconds. I don't think they're going to be able to find him, though, in that time. I don't think it's worth looking for him anyways.
The worst
recall,
thing,
anyways.
I think the worst thing here right now is if Unique is going over after GPK, but then a recall and an instant kill onto IO would have been disastrous because Unique's in the top left corner of the map.
Oh my god, yeah.
Luckily, IO wasn't in a position where that could easily have happened. But VP were positioned to want to try and make these plays.
And of course, we do have the BKB completed for IO as well. But again, it's not like he is the tankiest little ball of light here. So while it will prevent him from getting locked down, I'm not sure it'll be enough to keep him alive if the rest of his team has crumbled around him.
And a really nice thing that VP are doing right now is they're ensuring that their vision is based on the objectives they want to play at. I think if you look at the minimap real quick, Unique, they have 2 side lane wards, which makes their game feel really hard to play because you're not really playing at the tier 1 bot or the tier 1 top. So a big vision advantage from VP right now to be able to make the correct moves. And it does indicate that this top push, everyone should be here. Just because you see mid lane pushed in, bot lane pushed in, VP should be very aware that this top tri-camp area, and showing in the lane, does pretty much help. Yep.
Well, down goes the tower here. And it looks like they're okay with letting it go. It feels like Virtus.pro, they're playing their own game. It really feels like. They're like, okay, we're going to allow them this and this, but I know that I'm going to be, finishing up this item at this timing. Everything's fine, guys. It just feels like a very chill game for them, where they're not feeling as much pressure. Whereas Unique definitely has that, like, we are on a time limit.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
Done.
I think we kind of mentioned it on the panel. It's the idea that what does the IO ever do to the Ursa in the kind of late game? It's kind of like little ball of light versus big bear. It doesn't really kind of weigh up that well. And I think Unique, they are really trying to play around this early window. I think VP as well, they show the respect of a potential Lotus Orb coming out. We see that just on the Timbersaw now. So Brewmaster, everything that he's bringing to the table right now is kind of gone. We don't really care about a split too much. Unique are too tanky. This Vessel, all right, cool. You're now kind of just like a vision in the fight. So yeah, Unique in a really big power spike right now. Probably waiting for the second Roshan to truly try and break down VP and start pressuring the tier 3s.
So what do we want to see coming out now for the Brewmaster to kind of make him more than just an extra body in the fight?
Okay, well, I'm happy that he went for this Midas to kind of give himself a game, because I think the way that we were discussing this Vessel already falling off, he needs to kind of scale. He's got Aghanims in his quick buy right now. That does allow him to kind of cleanly scale, but realistically, a BKB after that just to have continued presence in the fight. I think one hero on VP that can just get the vision is critical.
Nightfall. Do they go in? Oh, they have the black hole, and the BKB is out. And the follow-up, though, with the Exorcism, they just turn right back around. Again, they get the kill on Bignum. Now Slayer is trying to run away from GPK, as is Pikachu. He's getting just chased down. They'll be able to go reload out, but that Io's going to be coming back. And that is, of course, your core. Slayer, though, leading them on a merry chase, says, come look at me. Don't pay attention to my Io. And it doesn't matter because he is going to go down. It's very dangerous, though. Palantimos is going to be coming back here with Pikachu. They drop the Serpent Wards over onto Ghostic. Save, he's going to take a lot of damage. That Essence Ring, though, looks like it's going to be able to keep him alive just a bit longer, as Pikachu now will go down. Ghostic is going to get bashed up, and they just need a little bit more damage for this Timbersaw. By God, they have it. Somehow, Palantimos is still alive, but it doesn't look like he's going to be living much longer here, Tigov, because the rest of the team is here. The Spirit Vessel is here, and it's Nightfall with a triple kill.
I just think the patience of VP, it really put Unique in this position of, okay, we got the Black Hole, we have to make a play, we need to do something. And you can see the kind of the haste from the Enigma to want to try and instantly get it off, and Void Spirit just in position to just jump in, silence, and no, I should have a BKB. I can instantly cancel this, and without the Black Hole, where's the team fight? So unfortunately for Unique, they kind of buckled under the pressure of VP doing nothing. And it sounds weird to say, but in Dota, I think that is the worst pressure to feel, when your enemy is not making any moves against you, and you're like, wait, they're just farming. But we have to do something, and that's exactly what happened here. Wasted Black Hole, and now dead again in top lane. This is looking a bit dismal now for Bignum.
I mean, he's putting up a decent fight, considering that
he
there
has
are 3
survived an extra 3 seconds.
Yeah, you know? Hey, those are 3 seconds that Nightfall was not hitting creeps or hitting any other of his.
Now that is min-maxing to the highest of levels.
You gotta look at the positive side of things.
That is true. The interesting thing as well in that fight is after the Black Hole was wasted, they also brought the DP back in after the IO save. It's like they really committed to trying to take the fight, which was very interesting.
I don't think you use it like that if you're a core IO.
Yeah,
is that just me, or?
It feels like they were trying to make the big save, and then like, oh wait, I'm a core. All right, let's go for the fight. Okay. So Unique, they need to reset. They need to really think about what's the next fight. And I think, simply put, it's having the vision to get off the correct Black Hole. We mentioned already what's the cancel. I think if you can maybe get the Tusk to find the Shaman, the Enigma maybe even black holes the Void Spirit, and then you get to play out the game there. Kite out the Ursa to the very end, because this Ags on Void Spirit is way too disastrous.
He's played it beautifully.
That was a core IO, by the way. That
was a core
died to the
IO.
Ursa,
Now it's looking like a Dead Slayer as well. They're just hemorrhaging kills around the map right now.
And I mentioned earlier the idea about vision in this game, and I think the product of those 2 side lane wards, it doesn't really allow you to make these strong mid kind of positional moves. And if you look at the minimap again, Dire, they got 1 ward entering their jungle. There's nothing to really play around. They don't see anything happening, and that's where the likes of Ursa, Void Spirit, and even the Kotal with a recall, they can just pick off anyone who shows in the lane or even the jungle.
I just feel like this Kotal is just too good of a hero
It's
right now.
bonkers, Moxie. Just let's not even sugarcoat it. The hero is stupid. With Chakra, I can refresh some abilities from my ultimate, you know? Like, pressing the button, it's stupid.
Well, in the top lane, Pikachu is not looking great for this Witch. She gets bashed up, and Nightfall collects himself
That was a mid lane Death Prophet, by the way.
That was.
Moxie. Just want to clarify.
It was indeed.
We have been seeing a lot of support Death Prophets, but Ursa, it is also a pretty stupid hero. We've seen Secret run it with great success. Once it gets to the 2-3 items, it rips anything to shreds.
It's a very good hero, for sure. And they're making it look absolutely fantastic in this game. Of course, it is a core IO, which is not something you typically see. Anymore, anyways, but... Is it? I know Charlie's been running a lot of this core IO. Is there anyone else that's really been like sticking to their guns that this is, you know, good hero?
In the pub scene, yeah, it has been, but it's very much based around buying like Orchid and having an early active item window. And poor Bigman, he does die again. But he is close to the BKB. It's like 1,000 gold, 900 gold.
He is, but look how big this bear is getting. All right, Snowball comes out. It's going to land over on the side. Looks like Palantimo will be able to go and tether out. Kingslayer's just running on and after him like that. That's a problem when you've got your 5 running after the core. Like, let me at him.
Yeah, you don't often see like 1v1 fights happening across the entire map.
BKB getting popped now from Palantimos. Nightfall is going to respect it. He'll back off a little bit. That Abyssal Blade is on cooldown for another couple seconds, as is the BKB. So it looks like they've realized, okay, maybe let's just chill. Let's go back. There's another tier 2 still on the map. Let's put pressure down there.
There's just no damage left on Unique anymore. I think the early window where they were pressuring, it allowed them to try and pick apart the weaknesses of VP's lineup. But now, it's 17 for 3. You can clearly see, how does Unique actually get a kill in this game? With this core IO, it's about kind of chipping and non-stop being in your face. Heroes like Void Spirit, Ursa, Brew, they don't care about this type of damage because Brew just splits, Void Spirit can reset, and Ursa just pops ultimate and he'll kill you in about 3 seconds. So yeah, for Unique, they are kind of falling a little bit victim to kind of the lack of instant scaling that they have in their lineup, and they have to look for the big fight. And Roshan will be a point where Black Hole should be able to become a big threat once again.
They need to be so careful here. They smoked up.
Oh,
They're doing
no.
a wraparound play as they go. They use Exorcism, jumping over onto the backlines. Victim is just not even
gone.
here. He's not even going to be able to use the BKB as Slayer now to go down. Kingslayer tries to run away, not going to be able to outrun the Ghost. As Palantimos, he's just being chipped away here by Nightfall. A buyback coming out from Keeper of the Light. They just called GG. They've had enough.
Yeah.
They realize this strat, unfortunately, just not going to work out for them this time.
Yeah, that was just a little bit rough. I like